They say death comes when you least expect it. For me, it came wrapped in tinsel and quiet joy. My name's Emily Carson. I was 50 years old, and I died on the living room floor 2 days before Christmas. I wasn't sick. I wasn't hurt. I was just living, savoring the kind of December afternoon most folks dream of. I had a good life. Retired first-grade teacher. Married to my high school sweetheart, Daniel. Mom to 2 grown kids. Volunteer, churchgoer. The type of woman who brought casseroles to sick neighbors and never missed a Thursday Bible study. December 16, 2024, started like any other cozy holiday afternoon. Daniel had gone out to pick up a few last things for Christmas dinner. The house smelled like cinnamon and pine. I was humming along to Bing Crosby, scissors in hand, wrapping our granddaughter's very first dollhouse. I remember smiling, completely content. My hands were busy with bows and glittery snowflake paper. Life felt full. Life felt safe. Then, in an instant, it wasn't. It wasn't pain. Not exactly. More like a soft pop, like someone cracked a knuckle deep inside my head. Something shifted. Subtle. Odd. The music on the radio grew distant, like it was echoing from miles away. My vision dulled. The reds and greens of the wrapping paper bled into gray, as if someone had drained the world of color. I thought, that's weird, and tried to stand. But my legs wouldn't move. My hand, still gripping the scissors, fell limply to my side. My cheek hit the rug, scratchy wool against skin, and I heard a faint thud. My own body collapsing. Then nothing. No sound, no light, no fear. Just silence. A heavy, almost sacred emptiness. All the noise of life, worries, plans, even my back pain, vanished like mist in the sun. And then came the thought. Not mine, clearer, brighter, like it had always existed, waiting for me to notice it. Look. And so, I did. I was floating, above everything, near the ceiling. Below me, my own body lay sprawled among ribbons and wrapping paper. Eyes half open, unmoving. I looked like a doll someone forgot to pick back up. There was no fear. No confusion. Just peace. A stillness deeper than sleep, like the world had hit pause. The front door opened. Daniel stepped in, arms full of groceries, humming something cheerful. Emily, honey, I'm home, his voice broke as his eyes met the scene before him. I watched the color drain from his face. Bags hit the floor. Milk splashed. Eggs rolled under the table. Emily, he yelled, scrambling to my side. Emily, wake up. His hands trembled as he touched my face. I heard him scream, but it was muffled, like I was underwater. A soft tugging sensation pulled at me. Gentle. I didn't want to go, but I had no choice. I was being drawn back, away from the living room, away from the man I loved. The image of Daniel cradling my body shrank into the distance. Like watching a film fade to black, it became a single speck of light, then disappeared. Now, I was alone. Still, weightless. But something had changed. The silence around me didn't feel empty anymore. It felt expectant, like something was about to begin. The silence didn't last. It gave way to something else, something I couldn't see, but felt so deeply it might as well have been wrapped around me like a blanket. There was a presence. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just, undeniable. Like someone had opened a door I didn't know was there, and suddenly, I wasn't alone in the dark. And then, from the distance, a light began to grow. Not blinding, not harsh. It was soft, gentle and alive, like the first rays of sunlight touching a quiet field at dawn. A golden rose glow that pulsed with something I didn't have words for. It felt like life itself. Like love in its purest form was pushing back the dark just by existing. I wasn't afraid. I wasn't even confused. I felt more at peace with every step that light took toward me. But this wasn't just light. It was warmth. It was home. It was the same comfort you feel when your mother holds you after a nightmare, the kind of comfort that tells your soul, you're safe now. Nothing can hurt you here. As it moved closer, the light changed. It took the shape of a man. And in an instant, I knew who he was. Not a guess, not a theory. I knew him the way you know your own name. It was Jesus. But he didn't look like the paintings from my childhood Sunday school rooms. His hair wasn't perfect. His robes weren't pristine. He looked real. Timeless. As if the light and love that had surrounded me was now wrapped up in the form of a man. His eyes. I still can't describe them. They were like the soil, deep and grounding, but they shimmered like the night sky, filled with every star that ever was. When he looked at me, it wasn't just my face he saw. He saw all of me. Every prayer I'd whispered. Every worry I'd held close. Every moment of joy I never shared out loud. Even the things I never admitted to myself, he saw it all. But his gaze didn't accuse. It embraced. The weight of his love undid me. It didn't crush, it healed. My spiritual eyes filled with tears I didn't know could still fall. Walls I had built around my heart, my pride, my anxiety, my need to always seem okay, they just dissolved like paper in water. Then he spoke. But it wasn't like hearing words with your ears. His voice moved through me, like a wave of calm that rose from the center of my being. Emily, he said. My name in his voice sounded like music I'd known all my life but forgot how to sing. Lord, I whispered back. My voice felt small, barely there. Peace, my child, he said, be still. And I was. Everything in me stilled. My fear. My doubt. Even my questions about where I was and what came next, they melted away. I was with him. And that was enough. In that moment, I thought it was over. That he was welcoming me into eternity. That I was home. But Jesus just looked at me again. This time, there was a hint of sorrow in his eyes, not disappointment, but a kind of gentle grief. Emily, he said again, I have something I must show you. I didn't ask why. I didn't speak. I just nodded. Because when love like that speaks, you listen. The light around us shifted. Slowly. Like a new scene fading into view. I was standing in my church. Our church. The one with the burgundy carpet and the old wooden pews. The stained glass window of the Good Shepherd glowed in the sunlight pouring through. It was Sunday morning. And I saw myself, standing by the door, bulletin in hand, smile on my face. Just like always. Then Jasmine walked in. She was a regular by then, a single mom trying her best. Always a little late. Always a little flustered. That morning, she wore a dress that was tighter than most would choose for church. Her makeup was loud. Her energy was even louder. I saw the memory play out. I smiled wide and greeted her, "Good morning, Jasmine. So good to see you." But then Jesus did something unexpected. He let me feel what I had been thinking in that exact moment. And it hit me like a punch straight to the heart. Underneath the warm smile and friendly tone, my thoughts were sharp. Cold. Judgmental. That dress is too much. She's always trying to be the center of attention. Doesn't she know this isn't appropriate for church? I didn't say it out loud. But it was there. And Jesus had seen it all along. The moment that quiet judgment passed through my mind, Jesus gently shifted the scene again. But he didn't speak this time. Instead, he let me see what had happened, not in the natural, but in the spiritual. From my heart, I saw something dark and jagged, like a small, rough stone, come loose and shoot forward. It flew fast and silent, like an arrow meant to wound without being seen. And it struck Jasmine, not in her body, but in her soul. She flinched. Not visibly. Not in a way anyone else would notice. But in the spirit, I saw her stumble, as if something invisible had knocked the wind out of her. Her smile wavered, just for a second. But in that second, everything changed. She didn't know what hit her. She just suddenly felt small, uncertain, ashamed. Like she didn't belong in that church, in that room, in that dress. My friendly greeting had masked something cold. And that cold had reached her. I had used my unspoken judgment like a weapon, and all the while, I was pretending to be a kind, welcoming sister in Christ. It broke me. I turned to Jesus, my heart sinking with sorrow. I didn't mean it, I stammered. It was just a thought. His gaze held no anger. But the sorrow in his eyes was deeper than words. Emily, he said, and his voice was gentle, but full of truth, every thought of the heart is heard in heaven. You honored her with your lips, but your heart was a stone. You judged the child I gave my life for. I wanted to look away, but I couldn't. His eyes held me, not in shame, but in clarity. And then, the scene shifted. We were no longer in the church. Now, we stood in my dining room. It was Thanksgiving. My whole family had gathered. The table was filled with food and laughter. But I saw myself at the far end, sipping wine and trying hard to smile. My brother-in-law Tom was mid-sentence, sharing his views on politics, again. Tom and I never agreed on that subject. And in this memory, I watched myself nod along politely, smiling like everything was fine. I thought I was being gracious. I thought I was keeping the peace. But Jesus showed me the part no one else could see, my heart. Inside, I was boiling over. He is so clueless. How can he believe this stuff? He's part of the problem. He's blind, he's ruining everything. The bitterness wasn't mild. It was fierce. And it wasn't just about politics. I was holding on to years of resentment. Silent, heavy. Then Jesus showed me the true consequence. With every angry, contemptuous thought, I was forging something, link by link. A thick, dark spiritual chain. But it wasn't around Tom. It was around me. While he cheerfully helped himself to seconds of turkey and stuffing, completely unaware, I was binding my own soul. Each judgment. Each bitter thought. Another link. Another weight. I was building a prison I'd never seen, and locking myself inside. You thought you were keeping the peace, Jesus said softly. But inside, you were at war. My tears came in heavy sobs. The kind that shake your whole being. I didn't know, I wept. I thought I was just having opinions. I didn't think. Jesus stepped closer. His voice was calm, but it carried the weight of truth that settles deep in your bones. The line between an opinion and a judgment, he said, is the line between humility and pride. You weren't called to be right. You were called to love. I had no words left, just tears. I thought I had been doing the right thing, keeping silent, smiling. But I was carrying poison in my heart and calling it righteousness. Jesus wasn't done. He showed me one more scene. It was simple. Just me, late at night, curled up on the couch with my phone. Scrolling. I saw the moment I came across a post from a woman at a nearby church. She'd shared photos from a tropical vacation, her family beaming on a sunny beach, laughter frozen in the snapshot. I remembered that moment well. I had tapped the little heart icon without hesitation. I'd even commented, "So happy for you." But right after that, the real thought came. Must be nice. Where do they get that kind of money? She's always showing off. It's all just for appearances. Probably a mess behind the scenes. Again, it was just a passing thought. But again, Jesus let me feel the truth. That thought, just a flicker of envy dressed up in spiritual concern, seemed harmless. It wasn't shouted, it wasn't written down, it was just a quiet spark of comparison. But Jesus let me see it for what it really was. He showed me how that single moment, a small, jealous thought about another woman's beach photos, was like pouring acid on the roots of my own joy. One drop at a time, it was corroding the foundation of gratitude in my soul. It made me resentful. It made me feel that what I had, a warm home, a husband who loved me, even the freedom to worship openly, wasn't enough. It didn't just damage me. It severed me from the very people I claimed to love. From the gratitude I owed to the God I claimed to serve. The vision faded, and we returned to that radiant light. I stood before Jesus, but I couldn't lift my eyes. I felt stripped bare. Everything I had once been proud of, teaching kids, feeding the hungry, leading Bible studies, suddenly felt like paper masks. Thin. Meaningless. Because behind them, my heart was bitter and small. All this time, I whispered, trembling. I thought I was following you. Jesus looked at me, not with anger, but with sorrow so deep it reminded me of those moments after September 11th. When the nation stood stunned, silent, unsure of who we were anymore. My child, he said, many will stand before me saying, Lord, Lord, did we not serve you? Teach for you? Give in your name? And I will have to say, depart from me. I never knew you. Not because they failed to do good, but because their hearts were never mine. He paused, and in that pause I felt the weight of every person who's ever asked, am I good enough? Will my life matter when it ends? The sins that drag down millions aren't always explosive or headline-worthy. It's not just betrayal or violence. Sometimes, it's what we justify every single day. Then he named them, one by one. The critical spirit. The silent resentment. The comparisons that poison gratitude. The pride that builds walls instead of bridges. These are the daily stones that build a personal hell, judgment by judgment, inch by inch, while pretending it's heaven. And then, he showed me something that will haunt me for the rest of my life. I saw them, millions of souls. Flowing like a river, headed toward a gate of light. They looked like us. They held Bibles. They wore crosses. Some even wore shirts with slogans that shouted their faith. But as they got closer to the gate, the light changed. It didn't just shine. It revealed. It exposed their hearts. I saw souls entangled in spiritual thorns, bitterness, comparison, unforgiveness. Chains dragged behind them, the same kind I'd once worn. Their spirits were bruised and gray from years of silent judgments. And one by one, they were turned away. Not because they didn't go to church, not because they weren't religious. But because they had never learned to love. I heard them cry out, but Lord, I served on missions. I gave to the poor. I raised my children in faith. And a voice, filled with sorrow, replied. You did not love. You envied. You judged. You resented. I was never your home. I do not know you. Watching that moment was like watching the towers fall again, not of steel, but of pride. Crumbling hearts that never knew how lost they really were. I collapsed before Jesus, spirit bowed in grief. Forgive me, I sobbed. Please, forgive me. I am one of them. My heart was not yours. And then he reached out. His hand touched my head. And what I felt wasn't wrath. It was mercy. Pure, cleansing mercy. Every chain I had ever forged, gone. Every judgment, every drop of pride, washed away. It felt like spring breaking through the coldest winter. His love filled me, not my love, his. The kind of love I had never known. The kind that doesn't just forgive, it transforms. I could feel it, love for everyone. For Jasmine. For Tom. For the woman I judged online. For strangers I once rolled my eyes at. It wasn't me loving them. It was him loving through me. Tears filled my eyes. Not because I was afraid, but because I didn't want to lose it. Please, I begged, don't make me go back. I don't want to return to that world, to that old heart. I just want to stay here. With you. He looked at me with a tenderness I can still feel, a smile that held both joy and sorrow. Emily, he said gently, your home is ready, but your work isn't finished. His words weren't scolding. They were like medicine, meant to heal, not wound. I didn't show you all of this to condemn you, he said. I showed it to save you. And through you, to reach others. Then he looked deep into my soul, not just my eyes, but the part of me I didn't know could be seen. Go back. That single phrase hit like thunder in a quiet room. Tell them, he continued. Tell them to guard their hearts. Tell them that every secret thought, yes, even the ones they never speak aloud, is either a prayer, or a weapon. His words carried weight, not like a demand, but like truth that couldn't be ignored. Tell them to tear down the thrones of judgment they've built in their minds. And to build altars of mercy instead. To love, truly, inconveniently, painfully love one another. He paused. That, he said, is how the world will know you are mine. That is the key to my kingdom. Leaving him. I can't describe the pain of that. It felt like my soul was being torn in two. Like the heartbreak of losing everything I didn't know I needed, multiplied by 1,000. I don't know if I can do it, I whispered. And he leaned closer, his voice now soft as a breeze, but filled with fire. You won't be alone. I will be with you. Always. Then, something incredible happened. It felt like he kissed my forehead, not with lips, but with light. That golden glow turned into blinding brilliance, pure white, all-consuming. It wrapped around me, pulled me backward, fast. Faster than thought. I was tumbling again, but this time not gently. The dark whipped past me like a wind tunnel. And then I saw it, that little dot of light, my living room, growing rapidly until it swallowed everything. Then came the jolt. Agony. Like fire exploded in my chest. Like lightning hit my ribs and shattered me into pieces. I heard someone shouting my name. Emily. We've got a rhythm, clear. A scream, a gasp, mine. I sucked in air like it was being dragged from another world. My lungs burned. My chest felt crushed. I opened my eyes to chaos, blinding lights, beeping machines, voices overlapping. A tube was down my throat. My whole body throbbed like it had been run over. A man in scrubs leaned into my view, holding a penlight. Emily, can you hear me? Squeeze my hand. I tried. My fingers trembled, and then squeezed. Shouts of relief erupted around me. And then I saw Daniel. He was in the corner of the room, face in his hands, shoulders shaking with sobs. I was in a hospital. Alive. Machines chirped. Nurses moved. Doctors gave orders. And all I could think was, I remember. I remember the light, I remember his voice, I remember why I came back. Go back. Tell them. So I am. I'm telling you. Because this story isn't just mine. It's yours too. Guard your heart. Every hidden thought, every quiet envy, every silent resentment, it shapes your soul more than you realize. Tear down your pride. Lay it at the feet of mercy. Forgive. Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Love, deeply, inconveniently, truly. Not because it's easy. But because one day, you and I will both stand before him. And in that moment, it won't matter how many good things we did for appearance's sake. It won't matter how well we hid our bitterness. It won't matter how many followers we had, or how right we thought we were. Only one thing will matter. Did we love? That is the only question that will echo into eternity.